Here we are. Oh, across the street. It's a great way to start the episode. This is the 50th, 50 episode of the show, Adam Speaks. It's been a great ride. Haven't been as consistent as those first 40 or so episodes. I mean, I'm hoping maybe it'll be a little more consistent. I don't know. I hate when I go to like YouTube or something and I go to someone's YouTube video like, oh yeah, sorry guys, I haven't posted in a while. Like, I don't really care. So maybe this is probably the last time I'm going to say this. That I'll try and do the show more often. I do want to try and get into some interviews. So if anybody wants to get interviewed, hit me up. I think I've got a few that I could potentially do. I know I have one for sure. Someone that I know said they want to do it. So there's that. So here's what I'm going to talk about today. 50th episode, big show. People will always say that they don't like tooting their own horn when they were correct. That's a lie. That's just not true. I am definitely one of those people that will toot my own horn when I'm correct about something. I would say I was essentially correct about what I said about the Kyrie Irving Celtics deal. Sure, they did get the Celtics ended up having to trade away another second-round pick, but what? Yeah, and if someone is going to try and sit here and say, oh, they gave away that second-round pick like this, so they didn't. They still won the deal. They still got Kyrie Irving. They had the press conference today with Gordon Hayward. I know Greeny from Barstool he had a really interesting tweet where he said something about not picking Fultz and then having Tatum change his number, and then David Griffin leaking that the Celtics were one of the teams potentially in the deal. And you kind of combine all these things, and it almost makes it look like this was their plan from the beginning, which I think they probably said, well, we want to do this, and we want to maybe bring in another point guard. And if their idea was to bring in Kyrie Irving, I would say that's probably pretty steep, especially if their plan was to trade Isaiah Thomas, which I've said in the past that I thought he could have probably been, if he had continued to play here how he had in his career, and then maybe didn't take that max contract like he said. Maybe if he took a little bit less, so that way they could have brought someone else here, he could have had his number retired. And I'll stand by that, because that dude, he just gets it. And I think that's the big difference between a lot of players, I guess, and him. I think he'll probably go to Cleveland, and he'll probably play pretty well. Last year he was fifth in the All-Star voting. Whether you could argue if he was the fifth best player in the league, but he played very well. Will he have the same sort of statistic? Maybe he probably won't have the same sort of statistics because he's not going to have to be used the same way. It'll probably end up leading to lower scoring, maybe more assists. Doesn't play defense, so he's not rebounding really. But he was second or third in points scored, and now he's playing with LeBron. I don't think that's not gonna be a necessity for him. A theory that I thought of this, and I don't know if it's accurate or not, but I had this theory about how the Kyrie situation and why it happened. Because eventually you look at it and it's like, what's even the point? Like, you got a second round pick, but now the whole league knows that you're a scumbag. So that the GM and owner are just trying to weasel their way into more assets, which they didn't even get, which is hilarious. I think that's the funniest funniest aspect of it is that they ended up only getting a second-round pick. Here's what I think happened. After that Kyrie trade, it was announced and it was agreed upon. Both teams tweeted about it. Both teams put out press releases. There was a report that the Celtics were now going to go after Klay Thompson. Now, if you're the Cavs and you just completed a deal with the Celtics, you look at that and you say, well, I thought that we just took all of your assets. So clearly you have more assets if you're going to try and go and get Klay Thompson. So now we want more. And you know what the Celtics said? They said no. They said, look, here's a second round pick. Now, go back. Never come here and try and make deals with us again, because it's just not going to happen. Oh, I just think if you're other NBA executives, you look at that and you say, "Wow, what an idiot." And if you're also the Cavaliers, I don't know which side. This is something that I'm just making on myself. But if you look at it and you think, if you're the Cavaliers and you see that the Celtics are now going to try and go get Klay Thompson after you just traded your point guard who was homegrown, I'm not even going to say I suppose you would look at it that way, because that's just a stupid way to look at it. You can't just say, I'll trade you these things. Here, we'll accept it. Oh, you're trying to go something else. Now I want more. That's not how it works. Now, will the Celtics go out and get Klay Thompson? I think they still have picks. They still have players like Terry Rozier. They still have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I think those are long-term pieces. If they were to get Klay, I think one of them is going to have to be required for this deal to go through to get Klay. I just don't see how the Warriors would. I think Klay is going to be. I don't know if he has this as an expiring contract, or off the top of my head, I'm not sure. But if it's an expiring contract, maybe that's one way you look at it. With the Celtics and with Kyrie, he's got this year and the next year. It's not like a rookie deal or anything. But you look at Thompson and you say, I think this might be his last year of the deal. But if not, regardless, I think they would probably have to be included. They'd probably have to be included, one of them at least. Either Tatum or Brown would have to be included in the deal. I don't know. If you're the Warriors, would you do it? I don't know. Maybe. But you got players like Smart. And maybe that's probably the only way it happens, because for the Warriors, why would they do something like that? They've won title 2 out of 3 years. They've been in the finals the last 3 years. They're not trying to get better right now. They don't have to get better right now. They're going to look for something for the future. So if that Klay Thompson deal does end up happening, I could imagine one of those people will have to be in the deal, and then picks, and then probably a Rozier or someone else that's young on the team. That's going to be it for today. This is episode 50. If you're in Austin and you want some free stuff, there's a shitload of free stuff. Just literally everywhere. Mattresses, I don't know, books, everything. So, Adam Speaks, episode 50. It's done. Go to iTunes, leave a review, subscribe, download. Let's build. I'm just kidding. That's it. Bye.